All right. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Much respect to the brothers laboring in this truth worldwide to wake up the elect for the children of Israel. It's your brother Dawadah coming to you with another lesson. Lord willing is edifying. So I had seen this news article a couple months ago, and the spirit came up for me to actually do a lesson on it. So this came out in NBC News, World News, matter of fact. And let me scroll down real quick. And this is actually out of London. So why would NBC News do a story that's only coming out of London, right? May the 20th, 2019, year of Corona. It says Russian documents reveal to sow racial discord and violence in the U.S., right? The revelations come as U.S. intelligence agencies have warned of probable Russian meddling in the 2020 election, right? Let's get into this story. It says Russians who were linked to interference in the 2016 U.S. election discussed ambitious plans to stoke unrest and even violence inside the U.S. as recently as 2018, according to documents reviewed by NBC News. It says the documents communications between associates of Yevgeny and Salakia on the pronunciation Prigozhin, a Kremlin-linked oligarch indicted by Special Counsel Robert Mueller for previous influence operations against the U.S., laid out a new plot to manipulate and radicalize African Americans. You see that? The plans show that, I'm not even gonna try and pronounce his name, that his circle has sought to exploit racial tensions well beyond Russia's social media and misinformation efforts tied to the 2016 election. So you know how Esau play. He gotta demonize you first before he rolls on you, right? It says the documents were obtained through the Dossier Center, a London-based investigative project funded by Russian opposition figure Mikhail. Nope, not gonna try it. NBC News has not independently verified the materials, but forensic analysis by the Dossier Center appeared to substantiate the communications, right? One document said that President Trump's election had deepened conflicts in American society and suggested that if successful, the Influence Project would undermine the country's territorial integrity and military and economic potential, right? It says the revelations come to the U.S. intelligence agencies have warned of probable Russian meddling in the 2020 election. Okay. Documents obtained proposals for several ways to further exacerbate racial discord in the future, including a suggestion to recruit African Americans and transport them to camps in Africa for combat prep and training and sabotage. Now this is how Esau Edom is going to try and roll on the Israelites. Check this out now. Those recruits would then be sent back to America to foment violence and to work to establish a pan-African state in the South. including in South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. And we know the biggest concentration of the Israelites are down south, right? Well, it ain't by happen chance that this information came out. It's just Esau trying to establish a pattern, right? There is no indication that the plan, which is light on details, listen to this, light on details, was ever put into action, but it offers a fresh example of the mindset around Russian efforts to sow discord in the U.S. Well, they ain't gotta sow discord in the U.S. The U.S. been doing that, redlining, your Jim Crow laws, even getting shot down in the street, man. So Russia doesn't have to sow any discord in the U.S. It's already here. It says the blueprint entitled Development Strategy of a Pan-African State on U.S. territory. Now see, we want to get the hell out of here. We don't want any part of this country. We know it's going to be destroyed, right? On U.S. territory floated the idea of enlisting poor, formerly incarcerated African Americans who have experience in organized crime groups, as well as members of radical black movements. Listen to this now. Radical black movements for participation in civil disobedient actions, right? The goal was to destabilize the internal situation in the U.S., right? And Lord willing, I leave this article in the description box, right? Alright, enough of that. So you see Esau is now trying to set the stage to demonize the Israelites, right? So this is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 6. Humble yourselves therefore before the mighty hand of Yahweh, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, right? So that goes right back to what we just read in that article, man. They're trying to seek who they can devour. They setting up all these different false flags, man. You go back to the time of 70 AD, Nero burned down, those villas in Rome and blamed it on who? The Israelites, man. Right? So Esau uses the same game plan, man. He has no damn type of ingenuity. Right? This is 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, right? We're not ignorant of your device, man. We know that what the prophecies say about you coming up against the people who fear the Lord, right? It's like you. So this is Revelations 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and dwell, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth he hath but a short time, right? So Esau knows he has a short time, and that's why he's devising all these different things, man. Right? But like you said, just read, man. We are not ignorant of any of his devices, man. Right? But this is Revelations 2 and 10. Fear none of those things which ye shall suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried. And ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Right? So be faithful unto death, and Yahweh Shema Shai gonna give you a crown of life, man. Right? But we know Esau is trying to do little things, man, so he can be justified in his own eye, try and roll on the Israelites, right? Let's see. Let me go up. Because, is it in 16 or maybe in 15? So like it. Let me go to 16, 15. Alright. It says, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 15. And we'll start at verse 50. And the glory of thy power shall be dried up as a flower, and the heat shall arise that is set over thee. Thou shalt be weakened as a poor woman with stripes, and as one is chastened with wounds, so that the mighty and lovers shall not be able to receive thee. Talking about Babylon the Great, right? Would I with jealousy have so proceeded against thee, saith the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, if thou hast not always slain my chosen, exalting the stroke of thine hands, and sang over their dead when thou wast drunken, right? But that's what's gonna get ready to go down, man. He's gonna slay the chosen of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai and exalt his own hand, right? The reward of thy whoredom shall be in thy bosom. Therefore shalt thou receive recompense, right? Like as thou hast done unto my chosen, saith the Lord Yahweh by Shah, even so shall power do unto thee, and shall deliver thee into mischief, right? Or the mischief they trying to put on us, guess what? Yahweh by Shah is going to turn it right back on their head, right? Thy children shall die of hunger, and thou shalt fall through the sword, right? Thy city shall be broken down, and all thine shall perish with the sword in the field, all right? They that be in the mountains shall die of hunger, right? You know they got those guys up in the cabins and shit, man. You know, thinking they say they shall and eat their own flesh and drink their own blood, for verily hunger of bread and thirst of water, right? Thou as happily shalt come through the sea and receive plagues again. And in the passage they shall rush on the idol city, and shall destroy the portion of thy land, and consume part of thy glory, and shall return to Babylon that was destroyed. And thou shalt be cast down by them as stubble, and they shall be unto you as fire. It says, and shall consume thee, and thy cities, thy land, and thy mountains, all thy woods, and thy fruitful trees, they shall burn up with fire. Man. So that's what's coming to Esau, man. You may think that with your legislation and your fake news and your propaganda machine that you're going to be able to persecute the Israelites, man. But you know, the elect, some gonna escape, some gonna be martyrs, but guess what? In the end, we gonna win, right? So Lord willing, this has been edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Much respect to the brothers laboring in this truth worldwide to wake up the elect of the children of Israel. Till the next time, I say shalom.